So to start off, I'd like to welcome 4 members of the PALS and CALS Advisory Council, and I will start from left to right, your left to right, which is so Gudrun Zadorjan, just trying to think, Ajay Gupta, Sarah Feldman, and Paula Treffiget. So welcome. And I think we have online other members of the PALS and CALS Advisory Council, including Albert Koo, Alper Kaya, Norman McIsaac, and Orlando Ruiz. So I shall hand over to Sarah, who will take us through this part of the session.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello and welcome back, everyone. My name is Sarah Feldman, and my daytime role is a physical therapist and assistive technology professional at an ALS center in Philadelphia. And I'm here with the Alliance with the ALS Hope Foundation in Philadelphia. And I chair the PCAC, which is the PALS, People Living with ALS, MND, and Caregivers of People Living with ALS MND Advisory Council, but it's much easier to say PCAC. So if you hear us all saying that, that is why. This is an amazing council. Are there slides that we advance there, Jess, or slides? Did we do it? Oh, there we go. So this is just to let you know, what is this council and why was it started? It began with a discussion that Gudrun was one of the driving forces behind, that said, nothing about us without us. And from that seed grew this advisory council. What we are charged with is helping the board of directors of the Alliance consider and include in its work all the wide-ranging opinions and ideas of people living with ALS, MND, and their caregivers from around the globe. So we're not charged with coming up with one idea, but instead bringing together the multiple ideas of different people from different countries and different lived experiences. Here is the PCAC. So these are the names were already said by David, so I won't go back over that again, but this is from where everyone is joining us. This is really an amazing group. I mean, I chair it, which means I just try and help them move forward or go in the right direction or come to their meetings. But what they do is move everything forward. And what you're going to hear about today is all the projects that they come up with, whether it's just an idea somebody comes up with in their country, like, what can't we talk about this, or moving the fundamental rights forward, or making an actual difference in somebody's country. So I'm very excited to present to you the PALS and CALS, the People Living with ALS MND Advisory and CALS Advisory Council, and let them tell you about what they've been up to. And who is the next? Gudrun.
What? The PCAC rights for PALS and CALS. We were tasked with a survey design, and we will tell you more about what was involved in that shortly. Every year we are also responsible for the website review of the PALS and CALS section in the Alliance website, and we will feed back our recommendations. This review this year, the PCAC, as the caretaker of fundamental rights for pals and calls, we were tasked with a survey design, and we will tell you more about what was involved in that shortly. Every year we are also responsible for the website review of the PALS and CALS section in the Alliance website, and we will feed back our recommendations. This review is still in progress.
The arts, music, cultures, and sports project is in its early stages. The objective is to bring these activities to people living with ALS/MND. We are currently building a contact map to help us around the world how both active and passive participation in these activities. The PCAC has also started the Expressing Gratitude project to drive this practice of saying thank you more often. We are also grateful for all you do for the ALS-MND community, and we are looking and already implementing new and creative ways to do so. As global representatives of the ALS-MND community, we are involved in various focus groups where we are able to provide feedback from our lived experience.
In the PALS and CALS section, you will find the fundamental rights documents for people living with ALS, MND, and their caregivers. The current versions are going through their annual review, but we wanted to share some of the upcoming changes. The caregivers' rights for people living with ALS, MND is still under review. For the people living with the ALS-MND set of rights, we have made the following recommendations. We have removed living from the introduction statements. Previously, having access to the highest quality care available was the first right, but we have switched it to emphasize the importance of having access to the highest quality treatments available. And there have been some changes to the wording. Once the review is completed, you will find the updated versions in the Alliance's website.
We want to start this section by saying thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for your support to our fundamental rights survey. Thanks to you, we almost doubled the number of responses from our previous survey. We had 1,927 responses from 54 countries. 903 Responses were from people living with ALS MND and 848 from caregivers. Thank you to the member associations which made it possible to offer the survey in 16 languages.
The fundamental rights of PALs and CALs drive the activities of the Alliance. With our second survey on this subject, we had two prime objectives in its design. One being to improve global participation, and the other was to compare the UN Convention on Disability Rights. Albert will tell you more about the second one shortly. We made a few improvements to the format, applying the lessons learned from our first survey. It was important to achieve more meaningful results that gave a picture of what was going on around the world. We wanted to find strengths and weaknesses at a global level, to highlight areas of strategic importance, to compare results with the first survey, and to fulfill our analysis plan that we had prepared in order to determine what the survey should achieve. For example, if there were differences in results where language other than English was involved, between the global north and the global south, between urban and rural areas, or between genders. Now over to you, Albert.
As Bruce mentioned, as part of the survey design, we have actually compared our rights against the United Nations Convention of Rights for the Person with Disabilities and Optional Protocol. Don't worry about reading the slides that is before you. We wanted to show you the exercise we follow by completing this big spreadsheet to do the comparisons of our rights to each of the United Nations articles. We want to make sure that we have covered everything which was included in the United Nations articles.
Hello, my name is Paula Trafiak. I'm a person with ALS from Canada. We now have the survey results, and there was a lot of data. So I'd like to take this opportunity to explain the next steps. I highly encourage you to find and watch the Global Results webinar available on the Alliance website if you haven't done so already. The Alliance are going through the global data. Posters are available in the APF Virtual Poster Hall. Dashboards and infographics are being developed, and they will be available next year. The Alliance will also share findings with the statistically significant countries next year. This is when there are more than 30 responses for PALS and CALS sections of the survey. And we'll be able to identify areas the Alliance needs to focus on. Reports will be developed on the data linked to each of the fundamental rights.
Specific reports will be developed to support the Alliance projects and campaigns. For example, the technology and the voice preservation data will support the voice preservation pilot led by the Innovation and Technology Council. Clinical trials data will support our effort in increasing access to clinical trials in the global south. The data on access to treatment will be of great value to the advocacy and public policy committee. The information and educational data will provide insight to the Alliance Knowledge Mapping Project. And the economy situation and impact data will support our advocacy efforts. And the above is just the start.
Hello. In 2024, the Alliance Roundtables will focus on the fundamental rights and the survey that will provide context, help identify areas of discussion and highlight gaps. The next roundtables are scheduled. February focused on access to treatments. The roundtable in June will be on access to healthcare, and October on increasing clinical trials capacity. Thank you.
Here are some of the key takeaways of the survey which we have conducted. To have access to the ALS MND Association would actually provide better respect of all the 11 fundamental rights. Agreement levels for respondents with association access is higher for every measure rights, especially end-of-life choices. ALS would put families into deep poverty. 4 out of 5 PAL respondents have been affected economically, and almost 4 in 10 have had to leave employment completely. The numbers are high across all cohorts, but especially among non-English speakers and in the global south. Access to highest quality care remain globally unbalanced between the global north and the global south. Only 1/3 of the caregiver respondents have time to take care of themselves, and 80% report states that their economic situation have actually been affected. 75% of all caregivers are female.
Well, thank you to PCAC, both those who are in the room and those who are online. It's incredible the amount of work that they do, and it's real thanks to them in regard to the whole notion of the idea about fundamental rights and encapsulating that not only for people living with ALS MND, but also for caregivers. And I think it's going to be a great legacy for many, many years in regard to framing what we do as an international alliance, as well as what each member and others will need to give some attention to. So we've got some time for questions. Any questions or comments from anyone?
I have
Himanji?
I
hello. When first of all, take note on the whole PCAC to work for all the men. What my question is regarding a project that was discussed last year that was regarding air travel. There was one project to be worked on about the research for and during air travel. Because when I travel, the capability of any aircraft is a nightmare experience. So I wanted to know how we are planning or what we have worked on that project.
Yeah, I believe travel had been on the, we did talk about travel last year and traveling with wheelchairs and things like that. And 2024 is what it is still on the list of on our work list as far as looking into it and working on it. Is that
I think we all been very impactful.
Yes, it would be impactful around the globe.
Good, thank you. Any other questions, David?
Hi. Hello. Hi. So I had a question regarding the access to clinical trials. That was one of the things that was going to be talked about, and whether or not some of this will be presented to, say, physicians in the global north or industry, so that they can also understand that it's going to require their collaboration to be able to improve that. Like if there's going to be a way to put this out to those groups, or if it is already being done.
Yeah, Kathy would like to handle that unless anyone else up here would. Yeah.
There's two answers that I have for that. We have shared the fundamental rights survey data in different jurisdictions and to different audiences. So there have already been many offers of help from regional research bodies like NCALS and PACTALS and NEALS to provide whatever expertise but also the challenges they faced as they were growing their research networks to the research networks that are emerging in the Global South right now. And so one of the things that has come out of that project is already, a willingness to collaborate and cooperate at the leadership level of the networks, so that they can share those experiences that they've gone through, because each of those networks is also at a different stage, so bringing just together the leadership of those three networks plus ELATAM and ALS Africa Network will be really helpful to elevating the whole globe.
And I want to add on to actually Himanji's question. I know recently in the United States there's been some legislation put in front of Congress looking at some specific areas of how airlines should and should not be treating wheelchairs and how wheelchairs are being mishandled, I'll say, at best. I don't know where that legislation is going to go or if it's going to pass, but I know Tammy and David, I think later, are going to talk a little bit about global access, and it might be an opportunity for the Alliance, and I don't know if it's happening in other countries as well, but that might be some type of effort where we can collaborate and think about legislative efforts to make that travel a bit easier. So I just want to let you know that is going on right now.
I think we could just collect. stories from people coming to this meeting.
So I have a question for the PCAC members. What has been your experience in, and some of you have been on the PCAC longer than others, but what's been your experience in how you feel about whether what happens with you in your own country is universally experienced in other countries versus how much of what you experience is different than other countries?
Well, I can respond to that I always say that I am a very selfish man because I fight to make my life better and easier, and that way others can follow in my right or whatever we gain. And I think we have very much similar things all over the globe, at least in traveling. We are meeting with the airlines and airport associations in Iceland right now to try to fix this. But the thing is, like now, they make the doors on the cargo area so small they can't fit in the regular wheelchairs. So there is a lot to do in that. But I find it global important.
I just like to add one point to it. See, the physical challenges, the economical challenges faced by the patient with ALS or the caregiver of ALS quite similar everywhere, because ALS has its own challenges. Now the difference comes into when we have access to the technology. Many countries have access to technology, many countries don't have access to technology. Economically, physically, it's not available, it's not viable. So the main challenges which we are facing right now is to make technology available everywhere so that the life of both the caregivers and patients can be made better, more productive, more efficient. So other than that, the challenges faced by the PALs and CALs, they all are similar to a large extent.
I'll echo that. Like Gudjin said, I mean, I'm a very selfish person too. I mean, as a person with ALS, you're trying to improve your lives and the lives of, with my variation, it's genetics, so the lives of my family. And in doing so, I'm also paving the way for everybody else that comes behind me. We're seeing a time which I've been able to experience where seems to be finally an effective treatment for my variation. And I think moving forward, I've been very, very fortunate with being able to access this treatment, but not everyone in the world can. And even where I come from, there's not always healthcare providers who can deliver that care. And I think that's a lot of the work that I'll be working on moving forward.
Yeah, actually the standardized treatment protocol is not there everywhere.
Right. Yeah.
So that is also another challenge.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, on this screen says different is insurance, money for own care team, and care tools.
Yeah. And Orlando's also provided comment. We found lots of barriers to go around regarding healthcare is different in urban than rural areas. So I've just been given So if you can join me in thanking all the PCAC members who joined us here and online. Thank you.